Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very interesting puzzle in front of us. If you have not heard of Nurikabe, I wouldn't necessarily blame you. It's a type of puzzle game that you can do. I've had an app on my phone for a while that I actually erased probably earlier this year, and I had to re-download that thing to give myself a refresher course on Nurikabe rules, because there's a lot of things, little intricacies that might help. Now, not saying I'm going to be an expert at Nurikabe in the Sudoku format of it, but I think I have at least the base understanding here where I can be semi-intelligent talking about it. So with that said, let's take a look at this thing and see what's going on. So it's called Friends in the Fog by pdyxs, and we've got normal Sudoku rules. So every row, column, and 3x3 box will contain the digits 1 through 9 once each. We also have our Nurikabe rules. So the point of Nurikabe in general is that we're going to be creating islands of certain values, and we're going to have waterways separating all the islands and blocking them off. So they will be fully, well, not necessarily diagonally, but you will have, let's say this was an island. Let's make them green. And then you would know that all of these would be water because you have to block off the island completely. But you could still have like an island sitting here that does something else, sort of thing. But that's kind of the general concept. You're separating portions of land from portions of water. Now let's get into the specifics of what all that is. That was just kind of a little moose-bouche, if you will, to get you going. But so Nurikabe, divide the grid into a number of islands orthogonally connected groups of cells. Every island contains a single circled cell. So you can see there are circled cells here that you can see the clue through the fog, which is nice. The digit in the circle indicates the number of cells making up the island. So in our example, we had done something like this, which wouldn't actually work, but we'll do this instead. So whatever these are, so these are 7 digits, so this would have a 7 on it in this exact case. And then the islands are surrounded by a waterway, a single orthogonally connected group of cells. So water must be a completely connected group of water throughout the entire puzzle. So we would have to be able to make some sort of connections like this and continue wherever. Now, digits on islands can repeat if otherwise allowed. So it's kind of the normal Sudoku rules if other rules allow us type of thing. So if the island did this, you could have this being a 6 and this being a 6, something like that. All cage cells are waterways. So the cage cells will be indicating where water is, and then we have to figure out where the rest of the water is. The digit in a cage cell indicates how many waterway cells are seen orthogonally from that position, including itself. So this one here, I left this up here. So this guy here could see, any of these in terms of water. Now the island here will block the view north, so you can't count those, but this digit will be how many digits this sees orthogonally, including itself. And then the waterway cannot form any 2x2 areas, so you can't have a block of water like this. It's going to have to be some grouping that does not create 2x2s and separates all the islands. Now, Nurikabe Fog. The grid is covered in fog. A correct digit entered into a waterway cell will clear fog from that cell and from any waterway cells which are adjacent, either orthogonally or diagonally. So if we were to figure out what this digit is, any waterway cell that is adjacent, and they can be diagonal, will clear fog, plus the fog over the waterway. The fog on island cells will never be cleared. So if these are island cells, in the end of the puzzle when we're done, they will still be covered in fog. Supposedly there won't be any, obviously there won't be any clues behind those that we need to use to solve it if the fog won't clear from there. What else do we have? So friendly islands. So a cell is friendly if it has a value identical to its row, column, or box border. We've done one of these previously, not too long ago, maybe a week or two at this point. all friendly cells in the grid must be on islands and all circled cells are friendly. So we're going to know the circled cells are all friendlies. So what does that mean? Well, whatever this digit is, it has to have a value that is either equal to its row, column, or region. So in this instance, the row would be 3, the region would be 3, and the column would be 8. So this could be 3 or 8. Same would go for all of these. And any digit that is represented by a row, column, or region must also be on an island. So it can't have any waterway cells that obey the friendly cell rule set. And then we have digits connected by a white dot are consecutive. So somewhere in here, we're going to have white Kropkis. So if it was between these two, these would be consecutive digits. Now that's the gist of this. Now, if you're not quite clear on how this is going to work, that's understandable. It takes a little time to understand the Nurikabe, how it works, particularly when it's now put into Sudoku format, because we don't really know, like some of the tips and tricks you can know from if you've done Nurikabe may not actually work in the Sudoku version, or there may be other tips and tricks that we have to figure out from a Sudoku version that will come into play that we can use. So hopefully that made, for the most part, sense. Now, when we go through the puzzle, it'll should at least become more and more apparent about how this works out. So let's get into it and see if we can get this thing figured. So link's going to be in the description below. Let's get at it and see if we can figure this out. So I think what we're going to do is start with our friendly cells, because we know every circled cell is friendly. So we can actually start to put some possible digits into these. So like we said in the description, this is either 3 or 8. This is either 1 or 2, because it's 1 in the region, 2 on the row or column. This is either 2 or 4, because it's 2 on the row, 2 in the region, and 4 in the column. You are 4, 2, or 5 for the same reasonings as all the other ones here now. What about you? You could be 6 from the region, 6 from the row, 8 from the column. You could be 9 from the region, or 8 for the column or the row. And you can be 9 from the row, 8 from the region, and 6 from the column. Okay. Now let's color as well, because we know every circled cell is friendly. Therefore, they are all, and it's labeled that they are all going to be land. So again, I'm going to use green for land. I'll use blue for water. It just makes the most sense to me. We know the cages are all water. So now we are set up at least to get moving. So the question is going to be, where's the next move? And that's a good question. Now, here's one thing we know. Because each island, it's specifically stated this, there is a singular circled cell on each island. So these guys are going to be our clues as to the size of the island. We also have one little thing, intricacy of Nurikabe, that we can instantly use. We can never have two different circles touch each other or have land between them, because then they would be part of the same island, but we can only have one circle per island. So this has to be water. This has to be water. Now, what does that say? And we're going to have to start getting into thinking mode. That was all kind of the automatic, what basics of Nurikabe and how this works is going. So let's think. Let's think about this 8, 9, I think. Because we know this is going to be either an 8-cell or a 9-cell island. So it's going to be fairly big. Well, we know we can't connect this island to here. We know at the minimum, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 7 or something like that. So the point is, we're always going to have to go from this point out into this region in some way. Now, therefore we know this is land, and we know this is land, we can use the same thing. We can't touch two islands, so these must be water. Now, if this is water, it cannot be stuck in a corner, because we know all water must be orthogonally connected in some way. So this must come out. Now we're going to know the island has to extend. This has to be water to separate these two islands. And we know this water has to continue to get out, which means the land now has to increase because this guy has to be either 6 or 8. Excuse me. Now, in normal Nurikabe, we are given the digits of what these guys would be, which makes it a heck of a lot easier. Because if we knew, let's say this was a 6, we could start making some more determinations, but we have to both figure out what the clue is and make the Nurikabe work. So again, we can put water here. This has to be water, so this can keep getting out. We might want to put something in this digit right now, because we're going to know that the caged cell tells us how many digits it sees, including itself orthogonally, before it's stopped by islandness. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 already. So this is 7, 8, or 9. Now, can we take that further? Yeah, this island has to get out. This water now has to get out. Again, a lot of the interactions are going to be where can land and water go without causing a break in some other aspect of the puzzle. So like this island has to get out. This island has to get out. We can't connect islands, so this is water. This island now has to continue to get out. So does this one. The water has to get out. Good. What else can we then say? Now there are, again, I guess this island has to continue because it has to at least be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we still have to continue to grow this island. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still have to continue to grow this island. We still have to continue to grow this island. Now, some little tips and tricks on Nurikabe, which we can't use yet because we don't have given values, but if you ever have a 1 on one, we know that everything adjacent to it must be water. If you have a 2 on it, depending on its placement, we can sometimes make some determinations. Like if we were to say, well, there's nothing good here right now. Let's say this was a circled cell that was a 2. Well, if it's a 2, we know one of these. We would know one of these 2 has to be island to finish the island width or size, I should say. So therefore, this one would always be water because either way, one of these 2 will have to be blocked off by water. Now, those are the types of things we need to try to see if we can figure out how to use them here. And I don't know if we can right now is the problem. Because again, we don't know what these digits are just yet. So, what else can we do? Can we think of any restrictions? I guess we can, well, maybe not yet, but we also have to think about, we're going to know that every region that has island in it is going to have, well, every region is going to have a friendly cell no matter what, because that's just how friendly cells work, because every single region will have a digit that satisfies the friendly cell. So we might be able to start making some determinations there. And we can also use the negative constraint, saying that the water cells can never be friendly. Actually, that is useful. What is this? This can't be a 9, because this is in the 9th column, and that would be friendly, but friendly things have to be on islands. It also can't be 7, because it's on the 7th row. So this is 8. Good. That creates a 9. Well, the coloring here might be, I'll leave it for now. It's a little hard to see, but there's enough of a difference there. I think that'll work. Otherwise, I can go into lines, but I think lines are not going to be quite as usable. Okay, so let's think about the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This has to be water, and then it has to be blocked off by island. Good. So this clue is now used up, I guess is the best way to put it. What else can we say? Well, I guess with the 8 here, we think about that negative constraint. that this region will always have an 8 that is on an island. Now, because that sees these and these are water, one of these will be 8, which means one of these two will be 8. Not necessarily the most incredible use there of that negative constraint, but it's something, so we have to kind of think about that. What else can we do then, maybe with one of these constraints? Now, these two are going to have to connect, and there's no way to do it without just making this land, because we can never get... That's another thing that we can think about when we've got the digits, is how far can we go with any of these? So what it says is, this being a 2 or a 4, at most it could ever get like this far. So therefore, something's going to have to pick up the connection of these two. And it obviously can't do something like this, because this can't ever connect. This guy won't have enough length to get here as well. So we're going to know those are connected. Now this water has to again get out, which means this has to get out. What else can we say? Now it tells us this is, we're at our minimum. If we can figure out if there's another bit of island attached to this, we will know what this value is. So that's something to think about. It would essentially mean, let's say if this is a 3, it would mean all of these are water, which is perfectly fine, it seems. Yeah, I don't think there's anything there just yet. Okay. What else can we do? We didn't get any clues on the fog that we uncovered. And again, the islands will not uncover the fog. The island, the correct island digits. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at 4 now. What about you, maybe? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the most this can be. It's already 4. I don't think it can be 6. Can it? No, because it's on row 8. So one of these two has to be a friendly cell. We don't know which one it is necessarily, but one of them is, because it's on the 8th row and it has an 8. So this can never go to 6, because it would encapsulate both of the 8s and make them water, which it can't be. Now, the 4 or 5 doesn't mean necessarily... Well, it doesn't tell us the be-all and end-all of what this thing does, because obviously this guy is going to have to get out some way. We just won't be seeing it from that particular point. Question would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I was gonna say if this was the 8, it would have to be on this guy. But the question would be, could we make that work? And we absolutely can. This would not be a 6 anymore, but we can make some things go there. What else can we say? This is region. Yeah, because the 8 was the region. Okay. Trying to think of negative constraints, because I'm running out of things of base Nurikabe or in Sudoku that we can look at here. So trying to see if we can figure out some negative constraints that'll let us push some of these islands or waterways. No, that could be anything. This guy could be anything. This guy could be anything, really. Okay. And these waterways there's outs in multiple locations for all of them at the moment, so we can't do too much there. Negative, this can never be water. There we go, it's a negative. Because there's no way to get to this cell with an island. Because if this is a 2, it can only go to there. If this is a 4, it can only get to there. So this is always water. Same can't be said for here, because this could go up like this or something. That would be possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. No, there's too many options here. That's again, the problem with not knowing the actual digit. If we knew this was a 3, there are a lot of things we could say about some of these areas, but because we don't, there's a lot of reach from this thing. Now, I guess, well, there's a little bit of a negative constraint in these regions that don't have circles. Because we know there's going to be a 5 in here somewhere, and it has to be on an island. But it is not it's not its own separate island, so it must be part of one of these. That doesn't really tell us much because the region allows the 5 to be in any of these digits. This would be a 7, and we can put it in any of these. Okay. Okay, what about... Well, we know one of these is a 6. That's something, I guess. Because again, this is the 6th region. We must have a 6 in or on an island. Booba-dooba-doo. What other things can we look at here? Starting to run into a little bit of a wall. And that's never a good thing. Is there any other negative? Can't think of them right now because these can be any digit. They don't have to be friendlies. But if there is another friendly, it will be on here. I guess one of these has to be a 9 because we can't put a 9 in any of these, and none of these can be 9s because they're on water and they're in the 9th column. That then says one of these is 9. Again, can't quite say which one is which. What else? Can't really say anything about this 8 column, because the 8 could be in one of these and satisfy the column, or it could be in one of these guys. Okay. Where else do we have something we can latch onto here? I guess we can think about, well, I don't know if that's going to do much good. I was going to say the negative constraints on the waterway patches that we can. This can't be a 4, duh. Being slow. That is a 5. Good. Because it's in the 4th column, it's on water. So maybe that's what we need to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is water. That gives us an 8 that is on land. No. That is on land. Again, we said this is going to have to connect to it. And we are allowed to repeat, so that's fine. This is now not a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has to continue at least one more. Now, there's nothing cleared here that's of really use of a clue either. So this is either 8 or 9, but it could fill either one of these two to get to the 9th digit. Okay, what other negatives can we look at? Let's start thinking about that, because this may be helpful. It may not be. What can this be? It can't be 1, because it's in the 1st column. It can't be 2, because it's in the 2nd row. But other than that, it could be almost anything. So that doesn't really seem like it's much of a help. What about you? I don't think we're going to get anything out of this other than the fact that it can't be 2, 4, and 6. Well, this can't be... Okay, we can do more reductions here, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The most it can ever be is 6, so it's not 9 or 7. Now we don't... Okay, we do, because of the minimum 3, it has to at least go to here. Because it has to be able to see at least 3. Okay. These are little bits of help. Maybe we can get more out of this than I was originally thinking. So let's think about you. Again, we said it could be 1, it can't be 2, it could be 3, can't be 4, could be 5, can't be 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, make sure that's correct. Yeah, there's no way we can ever have a 1 on any of these waterway given cages, because that would mean it's isolated by itself, and that can't happen. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It could still go up to 9. Sugar. Okay. What about that 5? We are starting to push it into one of these, because again, the 5 in this region must be on land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, this could be anything as well. Well, almost anything other than the being a 5 for the column, 6 for the row and region, but I don't know if that's really worthwhile to put in. I guess it is because we have a minimum of 3. Can't be 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9. Don't really love it. In fact, we know it's more than 3, because if it's 3, these are both land, this would get landlocked. So, tiny, tiny little reductions there. What else we got? I was going to say, the row we might have been able to use, but we've already used the 8, so we don't have to put a friendly in any of that. Now, what else? We've got to be able to make some more reductions here. Do we have to think about rows and columns and their negative constraints? The 1 could just be in any of those locations. 2 could be in any of these, etc., etc. So I don't know that that's necessarily this guy. No, we still don't know, because it could be 6 or 8. One of these, see, in this, if we didn't already have this digit, this 9 or 8, 9 possibility would have been somewhat useful, because we could have said, well, not necessarily, because we don't know it's 9, but if it was a 9, we would know that one of these would be a 9, so this one would always be water. One of those little tips and tricks there. What else can we work out on this thing? Trying to think of Nurikabe items that are helpful, but again, a lot of it boils down to knowing what the value is. We know this water has to get out, but it could go here or here, so we don't really know. Oh, this is water. Okay, that was one of the constraints. It only uncovers water, so this is water. That means this can't be water. Good, okay. We got to remember our rules here. So this has to be, because we can't do a 2x2 all of water. This is now a 9. And we know because this is a full 9, this must also be water. Now this water has to get out, so it has to go here. Good. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is now reduced because of this. This is not 9 or 8. Okay. What else? I was going to say there has to be a 7, but it can go in any of these. I guess we technically know that these are every... Well, no, we don't, because we can repeat digits. Forget that. Belay that order. What about this guy? Now we've got a choke point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It has to at least get out to. It's going to have to pick up one of these guys. We can't connect you to you, so you're water, which means you're not 5, because it's a negative constraint on the region. This guy has to get out for land. good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there one more or three more on him. There's one more on this guy, and it can't connect here to this guy. Okay, water, land, good. Now we can put water in these because we have to segregate the island. Perfect. This water has to get out. Good. Good, good, good. This guy can no longer be a 5, the island size, because it would force us to do all of these and then connect to here. Perfect. We know one of these is a 9. I'm just going to put that in. It doesn't really do too much information for us because there's no negative constraint on it. Did we add a negative constraint? Or, well, this waterway has to get out. We can do that. This has to grow at least one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at 6. Now we cannot. There we go. This cannot extend to 8, because if it does, it would have to take this position. These would both become water, and they would have to take this position. But then this island would block off this entire section of water from everything else. This is 6. Perfect. Making a little progress. That is good. What we like to see. Now, because that's a 6, this island is done. So this is water. This waterway has to get out, so it has to go here. Can we ever make this be an 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can. So that's not currently helping us. This waterway is it reduced? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's up to 6, so there's no 4 on it. This guy here just is a 3, because all it can see now is these guys. So it's 3. We get a little more information. This is water. We have to remember those constraints. This can no longer be a 4, because it would start intruding upon our other islands. So it's 2, which means this is water, or island. These are water, because we have to block off the island. Good. This then has to be a 1, which means this is water. Okay, we're getting somewheres. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has to at least get one more, so it goes to at least there. It can't be 9 because we can only see 8 cells. Okay, we're almost to a point. This guy here has to be water because he's blocked off from everything. He doesn't have a circle in it. Now, do we have any? I don't think we have any constraints here. Let's think back on this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That cannot work anymore. Good. So this is a 3. Because if this was an 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this becomes a 1 because we can't get this island out. So this is 3. Therefore, these are water. Get me to my water. This has to be water to make sure they all connect. We now know this is a 2x2 area, so this can never be water. It's land, which means all of this is land. This is 4. This is water. Good. Now we have, I think, all of our digits where we can start to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You are 7. You are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're 6. Okay. Oh, we uncovered a bit of water. That's interesting. I didn't realize we were going to see another waterway. So what does this guy see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's pulling up a lot more. This is good. Now we have just straight digits we can put in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not going to do too much there, but we're getting ourselves digits. That is good. All right, so now we know. Let's actually, I think we can remove the water. Does that look good? Nah, I'm going to keep it on. Just because it just reads better, I think, even though we still have fog, but we know these will have digits that are going to clear eventually, and we're supposed to have a Kropki at some point, 1 or 2, who knows how many, but. So, we've gotten ourselves done with our Nurikabe portion of this, I think, except for if we uncover more of these guys, we can use that constraint. So now we're going to have to start thinking about Sudoku and how it is going to help us here. Now, let's think of our friendly cells. So we've used our 1 for this region. We're good. We have not used our 2 for this one yet, but any of these could be a 2. We've used the 3 here. We have not used our 4, so this has to be a 4. Okay, so there is a little bit more Nurikabe we can use. 5, this can no longer be a 5 because it's water. These can't be 5s. And because we are in column 5, this can't be 5, so this is good. The 6 we need to put a 7, but that can go in a lot of places. We need to put the 8, we know it's one of those two, and the 9 is good. Okay. Now there may be more negative constraints that we can work with here, but I'm going to switch to Sudoku for a second to see if we can find anything a little bit more easy to go down. I don't know that we can because we don't have a lot of divergent digits, if you will. So let's do a quick check and then we'll come back to it. There wasn't really much on the 3s. Doesn't appear that there's much on the 4s. We've got a couple 5s, but any of these could be 6s. We can put a 6 here. None of those are 6s, but any of these could be. Anything else? One of these is, and we don't really have a negative constraint here because this one can't be ruled because it's row 5. Or column 5, excuse me. Nothing on 7s. 8s maybe. Yep, we can put an 8 here. That clears just a tiny bit of water. And we can actually start thinking about this now, because we know we have to have a 9 in this column, but it can't be in these two, so it must be here. That removes these from the 9s. Now we get a 6, 7. Now, we can do that because this is the 7th region, so it cannot be there. This is 6 and 7. Good, 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 good. What else? Let's continue on the Sudoku process because it seems to be helping us here. We might be able to get something out of it. One of these is a 7. One of these is, so not great there. Let's think about, well, let's finish this Sudoku look for quickly here. Just in case, again, there's something that's very obvious. And then we'll go back to our negative constraints, which seem to be quite heavily inundated in this puzzle. So, 9s, no. Oh, this guy here, this can't be 9, so this is. None of these are 9s, but that's not all that massive. Okay. Let's think. Are there any real negative constraints on here? The 3, yes there is, good. The 3 can't go any of these by Sudoku. It also can't go in these water cells because they're in the 3rd column. This is 3. One of these must be 3. We can do the same thing. We can't have a 3 on a waterway in the 3rd column. Good. We're kind of running out of steam over here, I guess. But one of these could be a 3. Let's go back to the negative instead of Sudoku. And so what do we have left? We still need the 2. It just can't go here because of the row, but it could go in any of these. We've done the 3. The 4 can't go here, but it could be either of these still. The 7 could be any of them, and the 9 could be almost any of them. It can't be here. Okay. Does that say anything about this one, though? Because it couldn't be 1, can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4, can't be 5, 6, 8, or 9. It is 7. Okay. We do get a little something there. Again, it's not necessarily massive, but it's something. No. Okay. Are we getting anywhere with this row then, where we can start to... The 2. Where does the 2 go? This is row 2, so there must be a bit of land where the 2 goes. So it goes here, and this becomes the 5. Good. We've got more information. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are nice. No. Wrong button. This is a 6. Didn't want to restart. That would have been a pain in the butt. What is this guy? 1, 2, he is 3. Good. We're getting more now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Okay, we get a Kropki. That's something. Let's think about... No, I guess that... The 9 now. Good, yes. 9, 4, 2. This is a given 8, which gives us our 8 down here. What are these guys? We need 1, 2, 6, and 7. These are not 6s. These are not 2s. Thought that might be better. Maybe there's a negative here. Is there? Bueller? I think the answer there is no. Well, we know one of these is a 1, though, because we're in the row 1, and it's all water except for these 2. So these are not 1s, which means that's a 6, 7, which means this is a 1, 2 pair. The 6s and 7s do not have a negative constraint, but maybe they push something into some of these waterways. We need a 1 and a 8. We can do that. This is 1 and 8. Good. What are these 2 digits? 4 and 7. Neither one looks like it's got a restriction here just yet. What else? Can we do anything maybe on these guys? These have to be 1, 2, and 5. This one obviously can't be 5. That's about the only reduction there. One of these will be a 4. No, can't really say. Well, let's go back to the column. Yes, we can. The 1 has to be on land. So these are the only 2 options. So these are not 1s, which means this is 2, this is 5, this is 1. Perfect. These are now given as 1 and 4. No restriction. What are these guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9. You're not 7. You're not 5 because of the row constraint. Okay. Now, did this Kropki give us anything? I know we saw it come up here. I don't know that we have enough of a reduction just yet. Because what could this be? We're probably better off looking elsewhere, but I'm just going to do this real quick to see what's what. 1, 2, 3, not 4 or 5, but it could be 6. That would... Yeah, it looks like any of those could work. Okay. Well, it's worth the look-see, at least. I guess we can say this isn't a 6, though, because 6 will never be consecutive any of those. So it's a little something. Okay. Let's go back to what we were doing, because it was giving us some information. So let's think about further negative constraints. Well, let's look specifically at rows and columns. So we've got a 1 on there, we've got a 2 on there, we've got a 3 on there, we've got a 4, we've got a 5. We need a 6, but there's multiple locations. We need a 7. There's multiple locations. We need an 8. Good. This is 8. That doesn't see anything yet. And we've got a 9. Okay. We've got the 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a 5. And it has to go here. Perfect. 6 we have. 7, there's multiples. 8 we have. 9 we have. Okay, good. We got some information there, so I'm happy with that. Now, let's think about what the next play. We have some fog still outstanding out here. Let's think about U for some reason. 1, 3, 4, and 7. We get absolutely anything out of that. This can't be 7. There's no negative constraint there. There's no negative constraint here. This can't be 1. No negative constraints. Okay, so that didn't work out. Can we do water with negative constraints? 1, 4, 5, and 7. Sorry. This can't be 5. This can't be 7. This can't be 7 because of the row. We get a 1, 4 pair. That's good. You can't be 4 because of the row. And that. What else? I thought that might get us a little further, but not necessarily. We know what these digits are. We can try to see if we can find something there, I guess. 2, 3, 6, and 7. Not 6. No, not 3. Not 7. Again, I don't see anything there. We got to find something that just gives us some digits. So what is that? What do these clues work for us? Do we need to do another quick check on Sudoku, maybe? Don't know. Which is why we check, just to make sure. This can't be 3, but there's still multiple locations there. No. Okay. It's probably a negative constraint somewhere I just haven't found yet. We just have to find it. 5s, maybe? Not really. We know one of those is a 6 already. We know one of those is... Oh, the 6s. There we go. There is a 6 here. That didn't do anything for us. There's no X-wings to work with. Okay. We got a digit, but it just didn't give us any extra clues, so... Nothing really on 7s. What about those 8s? We can do an 8. Yes, this is an 8. And I think that's the last of the 8s. It is, okay. So good thing we looked at it. What about the 9s? Can we pull something out of them? Not really. We just have a bunch of 9s sitting around. Okay, so back to our constraints. This can't be a 6 anymore. Wait, no, this couldn't be a 6 any. Okay, so that's not a 6, so that forces 6. This is 1, 2, or 3, so this is 1, 2, 3, or 4, and it can't be 3 or 4. So one of these is a 2. Whatever. We're scratching along here. There's got to be more of these constraints that, again, we just have to find. Oh, we have a 1, 2 pair here. So this is not 1. This is not 2. We get a 6, 7. So this is a 4. There we go. That's something. Let's get rid of all those 4s. One of these will be a 7, so you're not. Anything else? The 1, 4 isn't too useful. Okay. What about you guys? Again, we're trying to keep an eye on negative constraints, but I think we've used most of them. 1, 4, 5, and 2. You can't be 4 or 5. We get a 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, so this is 6, 7. Not 6 or 7. 7 goes up to see the 6 and 7 here. Good. Again, we're getting somewhere. This is a given digit of what? 4. We'll put that in. We're going to find this eventually. We'll get there. Trust me. Oh, wow. It's been 50 minutes. Doesn't feel like that at all. Okay. Whatever. 1, 2, and 3. There's no real set. One of these is a 5. Doesn't help us any. Oh, yeah, it does. Because this 5 here says this is 5. We know one of these is 7. We know one of these is 2. Kind of scratching at this thing a little bit. What about you guys? We need a 1 somewhere. It could be multiple. 1, 3, 7, 9. You're not 1 or 9. You don't seem like you have any real restraint. You're not 7. Not much there either. Wow. Okay. What else can we do? I think we've used all of the clues that we've been shown, so we can't really go there. Again, we just have to find a digit somewhere in this mass that's going to tell us how we can break these apart. Let's look at negative constraints again one more time, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of these is 7, but it's not quite enough. 8 and 9 are good. What about the region? Have I missed anything on regions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I didn't. Okay. So it really just has to be a digit here or there. Oh, the 3, 7 makes this is a 4 and a 7. This is, wait, the 5 and the 7 says this is 1. This is 4. There we go. That's the one thing we needed to find. 1, 4. I had something else I think I saw. This guy here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's a 7. This is 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 7, and 1. You're not 1 or 7. That 7 just says you are 9, 5, 7. The 9 comes back, gives us our 3 and our 1. That gives us our 2 and our 3. This is 9. This is 9. There we go. Now we're done with this thing pretty much. This is 5. The 1 gives us the 2 and the 1. And these are going to be given digits. What are they? This has to be 2. This has to be 4. There we go. Cool. For more puzzle, follow me on Blue Sky at pdyxs at bsky at social. If you guys want to do that, go right ahead. 200 solves in just under a month. That's not a ton of solves. This one is a little bit tricky, particularly if you don't know anything about Nurikabe, but very good puzzle. That took a little while. I guess I did have a little bit of a longer intro to try to explain everything, but still, that was probably in the 45-minute solve time. Again, I don't really care about length of solves as long as we get through it and do the right logic and those sorts of things. So, but that was a really, really fun puzzle. I love when we get interactions of different puzzle types working together with other ones. So in this case, Nurikabe. And again, if you haven't seen Nurikabe before, hopefully this is a nice little introduction to some of the, I wouldn't say intricacies because I didn't have massive intricacies here to go through, but some of the rule sets and how it can work well with Sudoku. So really did enjoy this puzzle. I hope y'all did as well. And I hope to see more of these. And I think I've seen a couple of other puzzles come out that are using a different puzzle type pushed into a Sudoku type, which I'm going to try to get done as well. So that said, like, comment, subscribe if you would. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.